I love it when people on the right are advocating so hard for something that they don't realize they've come full circle and now they're accidentally advocating for something we want on the left. I give you White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt. Now I know you're probably waiting for me to say, a whole laundry list of terrible things about her, but I'm not going to. I don't need to, because plenty of other people have already said that she's a fake-ass, lying, hypocritical bag of dumpster juice. She's one gender-affirming care procedure away from looking like this. But it's okay because she's got a rich as fuck septuagenarian husband who's clearly helping her work through what I imagine are crippling daddy issues. But that's not why I'm here. The reason I'm here is because Caroline Leavitt was giving a press conference and she was trying to explain why the Republicans who have the House, the Senate, and the White House and the Supreme Court were shutting down the government. And she was saying something to the effect of what they're trying to fight against illegal aliens from getting health care, which is against the law. They don't have it. They never will. It's against the law. But this is their fear tactics, and this gives them an excuse to shut down the government. We know really why they're shutting down the government. But Caroline said in her press conference, when an illegal alien goes to the emergency room and gets care, who do you think pays for it? The American taxpayer. And you should be angry. Well, we are. But that's the way it's always been. And it's not just illegal aliens. It's anybody. You, me, your neighbor, your coworker, America's little one-time favorite gymnast, anyone in this country who goes to an emergency room because the law says the doctors can't just leave you bleeding on the floor. They are obligated to give care, regardless if you can pay for it or not. So you can go to the emergency room and you can get care if you don't have insurance or the money to pay for it. And the American taxpayers end up footing the bill. But Caroline Leavitt doesn't realize that's why we have the Affordable Care Act. A huge part of the reason that the Affordable Care Act was even passed was to help make sure that every single American could have insurance. Whether you had pre-existing conditions, whether you had a job or not, regardless of your age, there was a marketplace, so there was plenty of choice, and the government was going to subsidize it so everybody could afford it. It didn't matter what socioeconomic group you were in. We made it so everybody could afford it. And the government subsidized it, yes, using our tax dollars. But do the basic math. One person goes to the emergency room, I might have to pay, say, $100. But instead, I could pay $10 and have 10 people get insurance. So I would rather my tax dollars go to subsidize people to have insurance rather than paying the actual medical bill. But the Republicans have been fighting since the very beginning to repeal and to replace and to gut the Affordable Care Act. There was originally a mandate in place where every single person was required to have insurance. And if you didn't have it and you couldn't prove it, you had to pay a tax penalty. Well, that was the very first thing. 2019, the Republicans in Congress took away the penalty. They're like, we can't force people to have insurance. If we made everybody have insurance and the cost of insurance kept going down, stop paying ridiculous amounts for people to go to the emergency room, we wouldn't have anything to complain about, and we sure as shit wouldn't have anything to run on. They're a dog chasing their own fucking tail. And they can't figure out how to get out of this endless loop. Caroline Leavitt stands up there and says, you should be angry as shit about having to pay the emergency room bills. Notice how she says illegal aliens. She doesn't talk about all the other people who go to the emergency room for care. American patriots who don't have insurance. And clearly this one doesn't have a designated driver either. She doesn't talk about them. She's perfectly okay with you paying for them. She's just saying illegal aliens to scare you so that they can take away more funding and make it so that more people, right? She can get insurance. She chooses not to have it. More people who want insurance, who are willing to get insurance, who are tired of going to the emergency room, Plenty of people want insurance. The Republicans in Congress keep chipping away at their ability to have it, their ability to afford it, and their ability to feel comforted by it. They keep taking it away, which means more and more people are going to the emergency room. Why the fuck do you think people go to the emergency room? Because you've taken away every bit of possibility they can have for insurance. Stop doing that and everyone can be healthy. Oh, but I'm sorry. You don't need people healthy. You want them weak and sick and hungry and poor because they're easier to dominate that way. I hope the government shutdown ends soon because we're getting very close to Halloween and I'm dying to see Caroline Leavitt do the Thriller dance.